I work for the Stroud Water Research Center, and Stroud and the Partnership for the Delaware Estuary and Berks Nature are working together with farmers and these other partners in the Middle Schuylkill cluster to implement ag restoration practices. We have complementary strategies on stormwater and poultry and some other topics. Our cooperators are improving farm productivity while reducing runoff and improving their streams. We want what they want: healthier soils, healthier crops and livestock, and cleaner water. Some improvements they make are immediate and easy to see. Others, less so. This is the mostly invisible world that our farmers are restoring. These bugs are the workers that break down some of the pollutants that get past our BMPs and into the water. Healthy streams have lots of microbes and other organisms that provide free water treatment 24/7. In other words, a healthy stream ecosystem is both a goal and a tool for finishing the job. Farm conservation projects improve streams' chemical, physical, and biological conditions. And if sufficient numbers of farmers sign up, we can potentially delist impaired streams that will produce cleaner water for downstream users. Agriculture is very, very diverse in the Middle Schuylkill. We welcome all kinds of farmers to partner with us: dairies, poultry farms, grazers, cash croppers, small horse owners, vegetable producers. Many streams in the cluster have forested headwaters, and we're working to extend this clean water as far downstream as possible. Whole farm conservation is our approach versus single BMPs. Every farmer that works with us gets conservation plans to identify all resource concerns. Best management practices reduce runoff. Forested buffers restore stream and floodplain habitat. No-till and cover crops enhance infiltration. Here are our focus areas that we're working in. Last year you heard from our cluster about the Saucony Creek project. That's the red arrow. This yellow arrow shows one of our new focus areas, an unnamed tributary to Spring Creek, where new projects are underway. And this stream is pretty typical of our work in other focus areas. For our phase 2 planning, we've estimated expected pollution reductions for each of these focus areas. And in this Spring Creek trib, implementing the planned BMPs in phase 2 will reduce sediment by an estimated 28%, nitrogen by 11%, and phosphorus by 26%. We're hoping to double these reductions by the end of the project. This is one headwater streams in this focus area. It bubbles out of Bud and Marilyn Miller's spring house. From this 2015 picture, you can see that cropland encroached very close to the stream with little protection from runoff and the warming effects of sunlight. Now an 11-acre crepe buffer and a thriving wetland protect this stream from runoff. As the trees mature, they will bring thermal protection, leaf litter, and bank stability. Eventually, the trees will generate woody debris for in-stream habitat. Bud and Marilyn are actively managing their buffer. They want a healthy stand of trees, not a weed patch, just like us. Our cluster puts a lot of emphasis on helping landowners do the early tree care that is so critical to establish great buffers. And our Stroud's Farm Stewardship Program is assisting the Millers with these buffer maintenance tasks. I'll just tell you that this couple is a preserved farm. They are very excited for their 18 grandchildren to see the legacy that they're leaving here. But once Bud saw a couple of buffers that had gone bad in the neighborhood, he needed our assurance that we were going to help him with maintenance. Downstream from the Millers is the Nauer Dairy Farm, and with the help of Berks Nature and the Berks County Conservation District and NRCS, they just implemented multiple best management practices, including this manure stacking shed. The Nauers also have now a modern liquid manure storage system enabling them to spread manure when the crops can use it. The project started 5 years ago when Berks Nature assisted this farm with a single crossing, which led to a conservation plan, NRCS funding, and finally a grant from Conservation District to finish the job. But even on this one tiny branch in this small focus area, we're only 2/3 done. Between the Millers and the Nauers lies a horse farm that we're hoping to work with. Horse farms throughout Pennsylvania and in our cluster represent a very particular challenge. There are a lot of overgrazed pastures, bare and muddy areas near the stream, and inadequate manure storage. We work with farmers one by one, usually over the course of years. At the same time, we have to keep our eye on the big picture, which is to deliver measurable water quality change by aggregating dozens of whole farm projects in our focus watersheds. And aggregating projects is not easy. The Miller and Nauer farms are circled here. Their properties comprise less than 10% of the total watershed in this focus area. To achieve significant change in the water, we're going to need the participation of many, not just a few, of the landowners in this focus area. So I'd like to end with a little historical context. This USGS monitoring data from 3 streams in Chester County, a different cluster, shows streams that are healthier since the passage of the Clean Water Act in the 1970s. This graph shows a steady increase in the number of families of macroinvertebrates that are pollution sensitive. But there's a different way to understand this data. The rate of improvement in many of our streams leveled off in the mid-90s. So perhaps our goals for the middle Schuylkill are not monumental, but incremental. We need to get our streams back on that trend line of improvement that started in the 70s. This last graph shows progress on one of those 3 streams in Chester County. It went from poor to fair condition after a majority of the farms in the watershed implemented forested buffers and BMPs. The macroinvertebrates steadily came back over 15 years. Restoration works, but it takes time and broad farm participation. Fortunately, we have great partners, like this Stroud cooperator in the Upper Tully. Like farmers everywhere, they are multitaskers. They manage animals, crops, machinery, employees, and a growing dairy to support multiple families. They're becoming better watershed managers as well, so these kids can inherit a profitable farm, cleaner water for their livestock, and a healthier stream. Thanks.